Tonight, the day's major developing headlines here on Prime. The devastating loss of life in Morocco as the death toll there continues to climb in the wake of a rare and powerful earthquake, the urgent search and stories of survival. This is hundreds, potentially thousands are killed in Libya following mass flooding. But are these worldwide catastrophes becoming more commonplace? Our Ginger Z breaks it down. Plus,
when our mask is on, we're superheroes. When our mask is off, we're regular people living our regular life.
I haven't had one person complain about the Boot Girls at this point. They've been nothing but raving fans.
They're pink-masked vigilantes helping hundreds of people a week removing boots from cars in Atlanta, and now state lawmakers are following their lead. How two different sides are trying to tackle what they deem the predatory booting industry. And
so 10 years later, carrying this is crazy, and I think the biggest thing I would tell her is keep dreaming and keep believing, because they're very possible and they're very within reach.
She's the teen sensation walking out of New York City with a U.S. Open trophy in her hands. Coco Gauff goes from Grand Slam finalist to champion, and Novak Djokovic makes history. We go behind the celebrations of it all. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including the incredible rescue of that American explorer trapped in an underground cave in Turkey, how he's now doing, plus developments on the manhunt in Pennsylvania after the convicted killer escaped the search area by car. 1 month ago, she was suspended by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, the governor's office citing neglect of duty for her suspension. The duly elected state attorney of Florida, Monique Worrell, joins us to discuss her fight to stay in office. And 22 years later, we remember the lives lost on 9/11. Our correspondents are fanned out across the country covering those stories and much more for us tonight. But we begin with the mounting desperation in Morocco after the strongest earthquake in more than a century leveled remote villages, devastated parts of major cities, and has left rescue and response teams scrambling to try to reach cut-off communities. Tonight, at least 2,800 people are dead and a similar number injured from the early morning 6.8 magnitude quake on Saturday. You can see people running in the streets of Marrakesh, parts of buildings collapsing right in their path. The extent of the devastation is not as clear in remote villages high up in the Atlas Mountains. In some cases, roadways are entirely cut off. Tonight, the Moroccan government is facing major questions about why it has not yet accepted international aid from some countries, including the U.S. and Germany. And tonight, we're also tracking major flooding near Libya, which so far has killed more than 2,000 people. Here at home, recovery efforts are ongoing in Maui as we learned today that so far this year, there have already been $23 billion worth of weather and climate disasters, which is a record. Ginger Z is standing by with more on that. But first, Tom Sufi Burge leads us off from Morocco.
Tonight, the sheer force of that deadly 6.8 magnitude earthquake. This the moment the earth started shaking, the most deadly quake to hit Morocco in more than 60 years. Panic in the streets of Marrakesh, the violent tremors sending people running, buildings crashing down around them. The death toll from Friday night's quake soaring. More than 2,800 people killed, thousands more injured. Rescuers tonight frantically searching for survivors. Then the calls for silence, pausing to listen for any signs of life. Some moments of hope. This person rushed to a helicopter, their condition unknown. We travel to the village of Wurgan, near the epicenter in the high Atlas Mountains. This woman collapsing to the ground, overcome with grief. Habiba later showing us a photo of her and her young son Badra, one of 8 members of Habiba's family who were killed. She then lists the loved ones she lost.
My mother and my father, my brother, my son.
Brave Habiba showing us what's left of the house where her relatives died.
We're so sorry.
Friends holding her tight.
Well, as you can see, Habiba's family home completely destroyed. The scale of her loss, hard to comprehend, but those stories are repeated across this region.
Criticism is growing over the slow pace of the rescue operation. Military helicopters today dropping aid, finally reaching some of the hardest hit areas like Ikhil, cut off by landslides. Tonight across this country, desperation growing. Survivors sleeping outside once again.
Everything is very difficult for us. No food, no water. We lost also electricity. it was very catastrophic.
Just so much grief and destruction. Tom Soufi Burridge joins us now from Marrakesh. Tom, what are authorities saying about the chances of finding additional survivors?
Lindsay, experts say 72 hours is the golden window to find survivors. We're now just beyond that. 100,000 children impacted by the quake, according to UNICEF, and a team from USAID on the ground here in Marrakesh, ready to deploy into the mountains if they get the green light from the Moroccan government. Lindsay?
Tom, our thanks to you as always. In Libya, entire neighborhoods were swept away over the weekend as a massive storm devastated coastal towns in the northern African country. At least 2,000 people are feared dead and many more are reportedly missing. Authorities have asked for international help as communities along the eastern coast face catastrophic damage. A spokesman for the armed forces said the collapse of 2 dams led to the deadly flash floods, which claimed many lives. And tonight, back here at home, there's a flash flood threat on the East Coast. 27 million Americans on alert. A Coast Guard vessel sailing into New York captured these lightning strikes. The Yankees game delayed for hours after record rain. Meantime, Hurricane Lee is strengthening once again, back to a major Category 3 with 115-mile-an-hour winds. Our chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, is tracking it all for us on this busy Monday night. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, Lindsay, we've got the stunning clouds around us, and I just saw the lightning striking in a cell south of us, so lots of dynamic atmosphere here along the stationary front. We've already seen some of these produce up to 2.5 inches of rain really quickly, so anticipate that along the stationary front from Boston and Providence right through Connecticut down to New Jersey and New York. So Long Island, you've still got to deal with it for the next couple of hours, too. But then we get more on Wednesday. It's been a really wet start to September, and this is all independent of Lee, which is still way out there in the Atlantic, just north of Puerto Rico by about 400 miles. So it's still in open ocean. It's moving west-northwest at about 7 miles per hour. It will keep chugging westward and a little northwest until it makes that all-important turn to the north. That tells everyone in the Bahamas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, you are free and clear of direct impacts, but you will have those indirect rip current risk, of course, the big high surf. And that really starts to intensify once you get into the mid-Atlantic, coastal New Jersey, Long Island, up into New England, because you see the proximity to the storm. Now, do pay attention to the cone. Often we'll say look beyond the cone, but the cone itself represents where it could go. The furthest west would put you in a really bad place if you're on the Cape. Does not look like most of the modeling wants to do that, but they're keeping that wide just to make sure that everyone is aware that by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be talking about a storm making its way somewhere around coastal New England, right along the Canadian border to Nova Scotia. That leaves the eastern side, or that dirty side, the right side of the storm, over Nova Scotia in almost all these scenarios. But either way, if I were in Cape Cod Bay and I'm seeing these northeasterly winds pushing huge waves, giant winds toward me, I'd be concerned about erosion, rip currents, and then the closer it gets, obviously, the potential for some of that, like, power lines down. But we will get closer to those impacts by the weekend. Lindsay.
We want Lee to keep heading east. And Ginger, America has also set a perhaps disturbing record already in September for billion-dollar natural disasters in 2023. What do you know about that?
So $23 billion disasters, that's the minimum that they're causing, right? Or that they cost, some of them more. There were 2 flood events, there were 18 severe weather events, 1 wildfire event, and of course, the 1 tropical cyclone, Idalia. Now, this beats out the old record of 22 of them in 2020, the year 2020. Realize we're only in September, so we still have 4 months left. So we not only are going to break that record, but we're going to smash it. Lindsay?
Wow. All right. Ginger Z for us. Our thanks to you. I know you are busy. Now to an extraordinary rescue in Turkey. An American explorer was pulled out after being trapped more than 3,000 feet underground in a cave for days. ABC's Marcus Moore was there as they finally were able to bring him out.
Tonight, renowned American cave explorer Mark Dickey finally emerging from Turkey's Morja cave 9 days after suffering a life-threatening medical emergency more than 3,000 feet from the surface. Dickey seen smiling on a stretcher, making it to the base camp after the successful last leg of a daring mission. And you can see Mr. Dickey there with that thermal blanket wrapped around him. This was a delicate operation, a delicate mission, one that took a lot of manpower and a lot of planning. Rescuers slowly maneuvering him along the narrow cave, at times in a near vertical climb, fighting to keep Dickey level for the last few hundred feet. Making things even more difficult, the cave flooded with more than 3 feet of water.
It's a very particular piece of cave here because there are so many slopes. It's a bit tricky.
While on a mapping expedition, Dickey, a renowned researcher, became trapped more than 3,000 feet from the surface. An international team making the treacherous journey to reach him. Slowly navigating perilously tight passages, some so small they had to be widened to fit the stretcher carrying their fellow caver to safety. Lindsay, high emotions here in the mountains of southern Turkey, where at any moment now Mark Dickey will be taken from the medical tent you see in the distance there, loaded onto a helicopter and then flown to a nearby hospital. It's about an hour away for more medical checks, but this is the outcome everyone was hoping and praying for. Lindsay.
Certainly is. Good news. Marcus, our thanks to you. Next tonight, that escaped murderer in Pennsylvania slipped through police lines 12 days ago. New video from a doorbell camera gives us an idea of how he has altered his look. ABC's Trevor Ault continues in Pennsylvania for us.
12 days after this daring escape from prison, tonight Pennsylvania officials say they no longer have escaped murderer Danilo Cavalcante contained after he slipped through their search perimeter over the weekend.
It was a very strong perimeter as far as perimeters go, but there are always weaknesses, and that place posed some very unique challenges.
The latest images show Cavalcante is now clean-shaven, wearing different clothes. Investigators say he stole this unlocked van with the keys inside and went to the Phoenixville area where he tried to contact former co-workers Saturday, speaking with one via door camera who called local police. But state police weren't notified for several hours, and by that time he was already gone.
The fact that he has reached out to people with a very distant past connection tells me he doesn't have a great network of support.
Cavalcante later abandoned that van when it ran out of gas in East Nantmeal Township between Marsh and French Creek State Parks, just a few miles from the Pennsylvania Turnpike and 25 miles north of where police had been searching.
We remain concerned that Cavalcante will attempt to steal another vehicle to facilitate his escape.
U.S. Marshals chasing Cavalcante now say they're playing the long game.
Some people might think that means you don't expect to catch him soon. Is that the case?
No, I mean, we expect to catch him as soon as possible, but we're not going to put all our ducks in a row and say, hey, we're going to have him by this Thursday.
Authorities really hedging their bets there. Trevor Ault joins us now. Trevor, where do things stand as of now for both the community as well as the search?
Yeah, so Lindsay, this search is still centered to the north of the previous search area, not too far here from where Cavalcante abandoned that van, and they've told residents that they should expect to see a heightened law enforcement presence here, even though they don't have a containment area. They say they still believe that Cavalcante is in Chester County, but when they were asked why they believe that, they said it's simply because they haven't yet seen any evidence he's escaped somewhere else. Of course, we know he has already slipped through their perimeter once before. Lindsay?
All right, Trevor, our thanks to you. The White House has cleared the way for 5 American citizens detained in Iran to come home by allowing the transfer of $6 billion in Iranian money frozen by sanctions. But the deal is likely to draw some criticism. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
Tonight, the U.S. one step closer to bringing home 5 American hostages held in Iran. The Biden administration clearing the way for South Korea to pay Iran $6 billion in oil revenues that have been held up by U.S. sanctions. 3 of the Americans, oil executive Samak Namazi, held since 2015, conservationist Murad Tabaz, and businessman Ahmad Sarji were accused of espionage, which they vehemently deny. The 4th and 5th Americans want to remain anonymous. All 5 were transferred from prison to house arrest in Tehran, while the agreement between the U.S. and Iran was finalized.
My belief is that this is the beginning of the end of their nightmare, and the nightmare that their families have experienced.
Under the deal, Iran can only use the $6 billion for humanitarian purposes, but critics say Iran shouldn't have access to this money at all.
Now, officials here insist there are a lot of checks in place on how Iran can spend this $6 billion. The U.S. Treasury, we're told, will have eyes on these transactions and veto power. And Lindsay, tonight we're told these 5 American hostages could be coming home as soon as next week. Lindsay.
Mary Bruce from the White House. Thanks so much, Mary. Now to North Korea, which has confirmed that Kim Jong-un is set to visit Russia to meet with Vladimir Putin, potentially to sell him weapons and ammunition for the war in Ukraine. So how could it impact the war, and what will North Korea get in return? Here's our chief global affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz.
Tonight, the stage is set for a high-stakes meeting between North Korea's Kim Jong-un and President Vladimir Putin inside Russia. Kim taking his armored train to Vladivostok, where the two leaders met in 2019. Putin inviting Kim in the hopes of securing more artillery shells and other munitions for the fight in Ukraine to refill Russia's depleted stockpiles. Kim, in return, hoping to get advanced technology for his missile, satellite, and nuclear programs. General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, telling me in an interview for This Week that each country sees an opportunity.
Vladimir Putin presumably wants weapons, wants ammunition from Kim Jong-un. How serious is that, and what will that do in the calculus of the war?
It was previously that North Korea was dependent upon Russia or China for support. Now it looks to me as if Putin's gone to North Korea with tin cup in hand asking for weapons, munitions, and support, which is an inverse of their previous relationship, which is pretty fascinating.
And will that change things in Ukraine?
I think they'll get some munitions, but I don't know that they're going to get so much that it'll make a substantive difference.
Our thanks to Martha Raddatz. Today, Americans mark 22 years since the September 11th attacks. Nearly 3,000 people were killed when hijacked planes crashed into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a Pennsylvania field in an attack that not only reshaped American foreign policy, but also our nation's sense of security. Just this month, the remains of 2 more victims were identified, but still 40% of those lost have not been positively identified. President Biden marked the occasion with troops in Alaska on his return from the G20 summit, calling 9/11 a day that, quote, tested our strength, our resolve, and our courage. We've been following the fatal police shooting of 21-year-old mom Takaya Young. Young was 7 months pregnant when she was suspected of shoplifting at a grocery store. Police body camera video shows her refusing to leave her car despite orders from officers. The video shows that as Young accelerated in an apparent attempt to drive away, the officer who stood in front of the vehicle fired the fatal shot. The officer who shot Young is now on paid administrative leave while the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation examines the shooting. Joining us now is family attorney Sean Walton Jr. and Takaya's grandmother, Nadine Young. We thank you both so much for being here. Nadine, first of all, we want to just say we are so sorry for your loss. Our condolences to you and Takaya's boys. Tell us about how they're doing and how you've been consoling them during this time.
They're missing her. My son is heartbroken, which is her dad. But the baby boy misses her the most. He seen her at the funeral, and he's like, "She dead. She can't talk to me." And the older one is kind of dealing with it a little bit, but it's like he more understands it more. What's going on that she's not here? It's rough.
I can imagine. Sean, where do things stand with the investigation at this point?
Yeah. At this point, the Bureau of Criminal Investigation is looking into this shooting. And so we're asking for an urgency from them. What we see here is murder, plain as day. In other jurisdictions, other parts of this country, you see swift justice for families. You saw in Philadelphia an officer just indicted for a shooting that was caught on video. So despite the fact that there is an investigation taking place, this family is asking that the authorities move with urgency because life was lost here and a murder clearly occurred.
Double.
2 lives were lost.
2 lives, right. Is the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation keeping open lines of communication with you?
Not to this point. They have not communicated as far as the status of the investigation or the timeline. And that's why it's important that we call for urgency here, because we've seen in the past that, these things can drag on for months. We've seen past cases like Casey Goodson Jr., where Jason Meade got him here in Columbus, that took a year for an indictment. And so we're not, asking for a rush to judgment, but at the same time, the video says it all, and there should be urgency here in indicting this officer.
And Ms. Young, we heard Sean reference the video. Have you been able to watch all of the body cam footage?
I've seen bits and pieces, and I've seen my granddaughter turn away from him, not at him. She was not trying to hit him. And she asked him, "Are you going to shoot me?" was her last words. And he shot her maliciously. And that was the last thing I heard my baby say, period.
Sean, as the family lawyer, what does justice look like in this case?
This officer should be terminated immediately. He violated departmental policy and just good policing standards across this country. You don't place yourself in front of a vehicle that you feel like may be a threat, but more than anything, this vehicle was not a threat. We saw Kaya turn away from the officer before that car began to move. And so there was clearly not an intent by Kaya to harm this officer. And the officer in a newly released video footage, he can be heard saying, "She tried to run me over. She tried to run me over." There's no justification for what he did, and allowing this shooting to stand without any resolution just further emboldens officers to act recklessly when engaging with, folks in the community, and that just can't happen.
For those who never had the opportunity to meet your granddaughter, what would you like people to know about her?
She was a shining light. She was loved her kids to pieces. She would go all out for them boys, and she was excited to have a little girl, which she lost when she lost her life. She had a 7-month baby girl in her stomach, and her baby girl it was going to be her mini-me. That was going to be her heart. She was so excited. She was getting little clothes and stuff ready for that baby. And they took her life and the baby's life at the same time, being a bully.
Ms. Young, have you gotten an apology or heard anything from the police?
Nothing. Not from not from the chief, not from the people, nothing from Glendon Township, nothing. Nothing.
Attorney Sean Walton Jr. and to Kaya's grandmother, Nadine Young, we thank you again for your time, and once again, we do extend our condolences.
Thank you.
Still ahead, new developments in the efforts to get a new COVID booster passed and in doctors' offices by the end of the month. But next, the last thing you probably want to see on your car is a boot. But it's not an uncommon sight in cities like Atlanta. Now, 2 masked women are waging a battle against the practice by taking requests to remove them. How the boot girls are even getting the government on their side.
We usually wake up at like 8 a.m. to our phone blowing up. And it's full of boots. And it can last till like, what, 3 a.m.?
Whenever news breaks.
The crush of families here in Poland.
Here in Kentucky, no match for the tornado.
From Monterey Park, California, on the ground in Ukraine.
Reporting from Uvalde, Texas. ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
From Kathmandu, Nepal.
In Truckee, California, covering record snowfall.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
Here at this airport in Tampa, it's already shut down.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Reporting from Jerusalem.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about, the new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back, everyone. This is something no driver wants to see. You walk out to your car and a device is attached to the wheel to prevent you from moving, meaning you have been booted. And in order to get it removed, the driver is then on the hook for the cost. In Atlanta, two masked women are trying to shake up the booting industry one call at a time. The identity of the boot girls remains hidden for their safety, but they've become social media stars, and state lawmakers are following their lead. Georgia state senators and an Atlanta city official are now trying to ban the act of booting, saying it's predatory and at times causing unnecessary violence. But booting companies say they only practice it where the city ordinance allows. Tonight, we take you along for a look inside the parking problems plaguing one of America's biggest cities and the vigilantes trying to fix it.
Good, how are you? You got cash or cash app? Okay, yeah. How they get like that, you know? When our mask is on, we're superheroes. When our mask is off, we're regular people living our regular life. We just take off the boots. Yep, all day, every day. We're able to be like feminine Batmans.
We were at an apartment complex, and Shiesty randomly got booted. They had a key, and we just bought it from them and started our own.
Oh, they got a boot. A day in life is like we usually wake up at like 8 a.m. to our phone blowing up. Oh, theirs is hard to put in there. There we go. And it's full of boots. And it can last till like, what, 3 a.m.?
It's
like
going up to 40 a day. So we don't really have to do the whole week.
You know, we got different vehicles, but we chose the Batmobile today for y'all. So play some tunes.
This is a bad industry. It's wrong on all levels, and our job as lawmakers is to address that and protect our citizens. I haven't had one person complain about the boot girls at this point. They've been nothing but raving fans. However, I'm sure if we had the booting companies here, they would say something different.
You see through the social media reactions, the reactions of local news when stories about booting come up, that this is a problem that a lot of Atlantans actually are really concerned about.
So you can park your car at a lot in Atlanta, walk off the property, come back, and your car is going to be booted. Since 2012, we've helped at least 500,000 people who've been booted in Georgia, and Atlanta counts for the lion's share of that. This is big business in Atlanta. Everyone profits. The booting companies profit, the parking companies profit, even the business owners profit. Despite the fact that there are statutes and rules that keep them from giving kickbacks, they still do it in a lot of instances. So everyone's getting paid off of this, and the people who are parking, even in their own homes, are the ones paying the cost. Our state government should have acted a long time ago. And in some instances, people are very understandably upset. And that can lead to violent confrontations.
No, ma'am, you can't do it.
You can't
do it, man.
You're finna step on her foot.
I'm not stepping on your foot. You can't do it.
You need to go, like, for real.
No, you can't do this.
The man was from a private parking company. He was very aggressive with us. He was putting like most of his body weight on us, making my hand stuck in the boot to where I can't turn or get the key out.
I thought we was gonna have to fight him.
Okay, but excuse me so I can take it out.
Can y'all call the police?
Because he's harassing us. I'm calling the cops right now. Don't worry about it. I mean,
it's legal. Like,
it's not.
Yes, it is. You touch my friend, I'm gonna whip your. You a grown man. You a grown man.
And you're hiding behind a mask.
Okay, and what you gonna do about it?
Behind a mask.
It's kind of a dangerous job for a female, technically, especially with the audience and they know who you are. They really try to attack you. But we're on the way, and she said, thank you. I've been arrested by the Atlanta Police Department. I was trying to help the people who had called me, and by the time I got there, all that was happening, they called the police, and they just falsely accused me of throwing the boot over the fence. But the lot that it was at, there was no fence. They just said things that they know were criminal to, have reasons for my arrest.
The boot girls, we've identified them, we know who they are, and we're working through a process with other booting companies and APD to get them prosecuted. The problem is more with some of our state legislators that are actually encouraging this kind of activity. Well, here in the city of Atlanta, we have an ordinance that actually controls how we boot. So we have to be permitted by the City of Atlanta Police Department with background checks. We have to have signage at all the entrances, and there's a whole bunch of things that we have to do in order to boot a car legally. We only boot in areas where there is an ordinance. We work with our crew to educate them on how to speak to people, so to de-escalate things. If you communicate well with them, it tends to de-escalate a situation. Banning booting is short-sighted, and the reason why I say that is this. You take a property like this, which is a paid parking lot. If you ban booting, it's going to leave my client one option for enforcement, and that's towing. Unfortunately, for the people who are in violation at that point, the fee is going to be 3 to 4 times higher.
Property owners definitely have a right. I mean, this is undisputed, right? To control who comes onto their property, what the terms are, how much parking is, how much it costs to stay there, how long they can stay there. What it comes down to is what is the most lawful, safe, and humane way, really, to enforce parking. There's all kinds of different alternatives. Paper tickets, controlled access, towing. How is the solution to that problem to trap my car there?
Keys. They got all the keys. They got the keys to the street. I make the keys that unlock the booting devices across the city of Atlanta, and I sell those. And then I manage the girls who actually do removal services.
Not everybody is going to agree about what the boot girls are doing or the people who are manufacturing keys. Now, I've advertised that I bought a boot key from one of the guys locally who is manufacturing them. Those keys, in my mind, represent is that people have had their rights to their own property taken away by force.
This one company boots 100,000 cars a year in the city of Atlanta, so that's just one company. There's maybe 15 booting companies in the city.
Amir Faruqi has been a champion against predatory booting in Atlanta.
5 years ago when we tried to ban it, and there wasn't political support on the council at the time to do so, I'll sympathize with some lot owners and small business owners that it is a cost-effective way to try and manage parking. If you're parked illegally and the private property owner or the city want to remove you from that spot, towing has that impact. Booting doesn't. The car is still in the spot, so the spot is not available for anyone else if that's your intended goal.
We've had senators, we've had congressmen come in and say, if Atlanta can't get its act together, we'll get it together for them.
They're used to running these lots like, cowboys in the Wild West or something. Now you have drivers who say, you got to call 911 if you want to keep me here because I have the means to take this off.
This industry depends on predatory practices, and it's time for a statewide ban.
I introduced a complete ban on booting, and mindful that 5 years ago we had tried to regulate it, but the booting company had apparently backed out. And we got, at one point in the Senate, we had over half of the Senate that had either pledged to support the bill or had signed a version of the bill, close to 30 votes. We brought a majority of the Senate essentially to the table, not just to regulate, but to ban it outright.
When we come back to legislative session in January, and it will be certainly my goal, and I believe my counterpart here, to get that passed through committee on the Senate floor so Governor Brian Kemp can sign that into law. It's not easy changing the law, nor it should be.
Oh, I get you.
I think we both agree banning the boot's the best option.
We hope the boot is banned. We can go to a different state, different states calling us.
Yeah, boot girls will never stop.
It will always be a thing.
I think there's no question that they are playing the role of a superhero. But whether they are a superhero or just vigilantes, I think we're gonna have to let people decide.
ABC News did reach out to the Atlanta Police Department, and they provided the public service announcement regarding boot keys, stating that it is not illegal to own a boot key, but if you use a boot key to disengage a booting device, you can be charged with trespassing, theft, or criminal damage to property. As for the case mentioned by the boot girls, that's still under investigation by the Atlanta Police Department. The attorney of the boot girls provided a statement saying that, in my opinion, the removal of a boot by an individual which does not cause damage to said boot is not a criminal infraction, and that an arrest by a law enforcement agency against someone who is not damaging the boot is misguided and succumbing to the political pressure of booting companies. And we still have much more ahead on Prime tonight. Coming up, a mysterious yellow line shows up in the middle of a busy interstate. The confusion over who's responsible and how to fix it. Actress and comedian Yvonne Orji joins us to talk about the inspiration behind her book, Bamboozled by Jesus. But next, Coco Gauff breaks through and Novak Djokovic reaches new heights. We'll take a look at the U.S. Open champs by the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show. First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
It was the ideal marriage. Little did I know I was married to a man who had done something so horrible that it would devastate our lives forever.
Teacher of the Year is now charged with sex crimes.
Only on Hulu.
He was living a double life.
The shocking story behind a #1 true crime podcast.
Prostitutes, escorts. He even cheated on me the week of our wedding.
Betrayal, the perfect husband.
He had a lot of fantasies.
Now streaming only on Hulu.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. It was a huge weekend of tennis at the U.S. Open with American teen Coco Gauff winning her first Grand Slam and Novak Djokovic adding to his illustrious career record. Let's take a look by the numbers. Gauff pulled off her victory in 3 sets on Saturday in front of an adoring crowd at Arthur Ashe Stadium, outlasting her opponent 2-6, 6-3, 6-2. At 19 years old, Gauff is the youngest American to win the U.S. Open since Serena Williams back in 1999, and just the 3rd female American team to win the tournament in the modern era. Gauff first burst onto the tennis scene at 15 years old when she made it to the 4th round of Wimbledon in her 2019 Grand Slam debut, setting up big expectations for her career. She fell short, though, in her first Grand Slam final at the French Open last year, but she finally got her big breakthrough win this weekend. Golf took home a whopping $3 million check for the U.S. Open win, with the tournament this year marking 50 years since they first started awarding equal prize money for men and women, a fight won by Billie Jean King, who shared the stage with golf on Saturday. Speaking of the men, Novak Djokovic won Grand Slam number 24 of his record-breaking career with his straight sets victory on Sunday that ties him with Margaret Court for the most Grand Slam singles titles in history and moves him one ahead of Serena Williams. At 36 years old, Djokovic is the oldest male U.S. Open champion in the modern era. And with his fourth U.S. Open title, he now joins Roger Federer as the only men's player with 4 or more titles at 3 different majors. After his win, Djokovic paid tribute to the late Kobe Bryant, who wore the number 24 for part of his career, with a special shirt honoring their friendship and his 24th Grand Slam milestone. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. The legal battle brewing in Florida between Governor Ron DeSantis and an elected prosecutor he suspended from her job. She joins us to talk about the accusations against her and how she's trying to get her job back. And a 12-year-old jumps into action, saving his behavioral therapist in a pool the surprising way the 7th grader learned CPR.
What does it take to be America's #1 news? It takes asking the straightforward, tough questions.
Do you believe that Donald Trump should ever be president again?
How would your mom feel about your relationship with your brother now?
I can't imagine what it feels like to go from $20 billion to $100,000.
Yeah.
Are you worried about going to jail?
You write that you had low-grade depression. How'd you get out of that?
The news-making interviews.
You said that there were 6 friends. One of them was sick.
Yeah.
Do you have future political aspirations?
Going to the front line.
The search for survivors. How does this war end?
And getting to the heart of the story.
Thank you for being here. We'll be here for the long run.
ABC News, #1 in the morning, the #1 newscast, #1 in daytime talk, Friday nights, Sunday mornings versus the competition, and the #1 streaming news. Thank you for making ABC News America's trusted, straightforward first choice.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on. Everybody in that home is okay.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. We are here at fashion's biggest night out.
What's happening today? YouTube has unveiled a new set of policies.
What people are talking about. The new ad campaign.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
A real-life Barbie dream house.
A name change for the Wienermobile.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're gonna love it.
Wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Getting you behind the stories as they happen. ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Streaming free on ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
A decision from the FDA on a new COVID booster shot, new developments in the suspension of a coach from a prestigious college football program, and the mystery confusing drivers on a Florida interstate. These stories and much more in tonight's rundown.
The FDA has approved a COVID booster targeting current Omicron variants. The agency approved the booster for people 12 years and older. Cases of COVID and hospitalizations continue to rise in the United States. The CDC will likely approve the new vaccine later this week. Houston Rockets player Kevin Porter arrested today by the NYPD. The 23-year-old allegedly assaulted his girlfriend. WNBA player Kaiser Gundruzek. Police sources telling ABC News that Porter came home from a late night out in Manhattan, found the hotel room he was sharing with her was locked. With the help of hotel security, Porter unlocked the door. Sources say he assaulted Gundruzek after entering. No word on the extent of her injuries.
Michigan State University has suspended its head football coach without pay. Mel Tucker is the center of a sex harassment investigation.
According to a USA Today report, a woman who worked with the football team educating athletes about sexual assault awareness claims Tucker made unwanted advances, sending her gifts and asking if she would date him if he weren't married, allegedly performing an unwanted sex act while on the phone with her. MSU athletics officials saying they learned of the allegations in late December and hired a third party to investigate.
Tucker releasing a statement today saying their encounters were consensual and said that the allegations are designed to, quote, destroy my life.
For the first time in a quarter century, the U.S. government is taking a major tech company to court over alleged antitrust practices.
The Justice Department and a group of states are suing Google, alleging that it uses its dominance in the search engine market to stifle competition. They do this, the government says, by striking exclusive deals, like one with Apple to make Google search the default on iPhones. The company, in a statement, says people don't use Google because they have to, they use it because they want to.
Austin McMillan says he learned his life-saving technique from the same place many other 12-year-old boys get their information.
I just saw it on TV.
Austin was in his backyard in Florida with Jason Paquette, a behavioral therapist who helps young adults gain strength. During a recent session, home security video shows Austin pulling Jason from the bottom of his family's pool. Austin starts to run to get help, but Jason slips under the water again. That's when the 7th grader dragged Jason to more shallow water. After realizing Jason was not breathing, Austin yells for help and then starts performing CPR.
I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for him. He's an absolute hero, and he always will be.
Florida drivers today perplexed by a yellow traffic line aimlessly painted on the I-95 highway in Jacksonville. The Florida Department of Transportation is equally confused, saying the paint clearly spilled from a truck, but officials are not sure who's to blame for the 23-mile miscalculation. And solutions are few and far between. The state can either try to scrub off the paint or use more paint to hide the original line. In the meantime, Transportation Department is telling drivers to do their best to ignore the bright yellow line wandering through the road.
To Florida now, where Governor Ron DeSantis is in a showdown with the duly elected top prosecutor in Orlando, Monique Worrell. Last month, DeSantis suspended the Democratic state attorney, citing an aspect of the state constitution that allows him to suspend a state officer. In a release, Governor DeSantis' office said Worrell was suspended for, quote, neglecting her duty to faithfully prosecute crime in her jurisdiction. Worrell has sued to try and get her job back, and she joins us tonight. Thank you so much for your time. Governor DeSantis has suspended you, so are you unable to perform any duties of your job? Has it given any indication if your suspension will be lifted?
Thanks for having me. Good evening. So, no, I'm unable to perform the duties of state attorney at this time. However, I'm in a very unique position because I am still the duly elected state attorney. And as state attorney, I am not permitted by statute to engage in the private practice of law. So while I'm suspended without pay, I am sitting kind of on the sidelines watching someone else who was not elected by the 397,000 people in the Central Florida area perform my duties on a day-to-day basis, but also not being able to practice law.
So essentially, you've been fired by the governor.
Well, not fired, because the governor doesn't have the authority to fire, but he does have the authority to suspend in very specific circumstances, which the Constitution describes as, among them, misfeasance, malfeasance, neglect of duty, commission of a felony, drunkenness, none of which I actually have committed. So this was a constitutional overreach by the governor. He's abused his discretion. His executive order did not state any of the constitutional grounds, and the law is very clear here. An executive order can't be general or conclusory in nature, which this executive order actually was, and that they have to state with specificity what the grounds are, the constitutional grounds.
So to me, it sounds like you're saying legally he doesn't have a leg to stand on. So what do you have to do at this point to get your job back?
So on Wednesday, I filed suit with the Florida Supreme Court against the governor, and now we're waiting on that case to be heard by the Florida Supreme Court.
The governor cited a few examples for crimes where he says you failed to pursue mandatory minimum sentences for criminals. Is it typical for prosecutors to use their own discretion when pursuing sentences?
Oh, you've got it exactly right. So what the governor's doing here is he's attacking prosecutorial discretion. But the American Bar Association has laid out the standards for prosecutors very clearly. And it says there that the prosecutor's job is to seek justice, not merely to convict. And what the governor did is he put together a lot of numbers saying that I fall short of prosecuting and I come in last in the place of incarceration in the state. And the reality is I don't come in last. The governor has targeted me politically, and this executive order is not based in fact. It's not based in law. It's based on the governor's whims.
So far, courts have declined to reinstate Hillsborough prosecutor Andrew Warren, who DeSantis suspended last year, as you know. Do you think that your lawsuit will succeed where Hill so far has failed?
So I'll tell you that while neither State Attorney Warren nor myself should have been suspended, I'll tell you that our circumstances are very different. The facts of our cases are very different. And I expect the court to review my case based on the facts in my case.
There are some who question if Florida is currently being run as a democracy. What are your thoughts on the direction of the state at this time politically?
Well, we are slipping very quickly into authoritarianism. And, you know, what's concerning about that is that this individual is also running to be president of the United States of America. And that democracy is in danger, not just here in the state of Florida, but throughout the entire country. So everyone should be paying attention, because if for some reason he were to be elected, the entire country has to worry about having elections overturned in the way that he's made a practice of doing here in the state.
Monique Worrell, we thank you so much for your time, and please continue to keep us posted on your case.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
After a 2-month lull, Mount Kilauea is erupting on Hawaii once again. Authorities said there's no immediate threat to people, homes, or buildings. Kilauea is one of the world's most active volcanoes. Emmy-nominated actress, star of the comedy circuit, and author Yvonne Orji is on the rise. Now her 2021 book, Bamboozled by Jesus, How God Tricked Me into the Life of My Dreams, is coming out on paperback. In the book, she talks about how she approaches faith with humor and shares 25 life lessons she learned from her own journey to success. Yvonne Orji joins us now in studio. Good to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. You look beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you. As do you.
Well,
Just trying to keep up. I knew you were going to be here with us
recognized
today. So, all right, you talk about these rules that you need to live by. What are some of your favorites?
Oh, man, I particularly like faith it till you make it, because that's different than faking it. There's a lot of people faking it. You know, we know those folks. But faith in it is more like, I'm going to do this believing that it'll work, and also practical action. Because I think sometimes when you start talking about faith, people just act like they can just sit there and like, God, you got it. It's like, he's like, but I told you to get it.
What made you decide to share these life lessons?
You know, so I was at a very unique place where I had been struggling. You know, what happens to a dream deferred. And it felt like my dreams were getting deferred, but I was still like inching towards them. And then finally, when I made it, I was like, I know that there is somebody that is 5 seconds from giving up just like I almost did. There is somebody who does not know how, when, where, what, or, you know, or who's gonna be their person to help them. I'm now going on the next level of whatever the journey is taking me, but I like bringing people along. It ain't no fun if the homies can't get done. Now, I know that song was meant for something else, but I'm talking about everybody winning.
All right, you talk a lot about your family in comedy. In the book in particular, you talk often about the expectations of being an immigrant's child.
Yes.
And you were supposed to be a doctor.
A whole doctor.
And how did you change and say, you know what, I'm actually going to go to New York and try this comedy thing, Mom and Dad?
I tried to blame it on Jesus, and that did not go well, because I was like, Mom and Dad, you know, God told me, they were like, God was talking to us before you were born. I was like, oh, dang, I can't even use the God factor. Oh, this is going to be a long road to freedom. But I had to, you know, it's like sometimes we have to make sacrifices, and sometimes things that whenever you choose yourself, there is inevitably going to be somebody that is disappointed and not happy with that choice. And in this case, it was my parents. And so it's very hard to navigate, like, what does that look like? I'm trying to obey God. I'm trying to obey this thing that I believe is my destiny. And at the same time, I have to respect and honor the sacrifices that my parents made to bring me to this country. But if they brought me here for the American dream, it has to be my American dream, not just what they envisioned it to be, right? And so that was a very hard discourse. It was a very hard, long 7 years.
In the book, you write, hopefully by exposing you to key moments in my life, you can see for yourself that God isn't out to get you, but he is out to get some things to you. You better preach, my sister. You say that you wrote this book to be meaningful for everyone, not just people who are religious. What is your goal that people will sit down and read the book, and what will they take away?
Just this morning, I got the best compliment. There was a young lady who stopped me, and she was like, I don't even practice faith like you do. She's like, but I like how you share it because I can get something from it. And listen, before Jesus was Jesus, he was just like, hey, I want something for you. I got something for you. If you rock with it, right, that's not exactly how he said it.
If you lean with it, rock with it.
If you lean with it, rock with it.
On a serious note, ask you your thoughts on SAG-AFTRA strike and how you hope that the industry will change ultimately.
You know, I think every strike changes the industry. Everyone. The last strike brought about unscripted TV, reality TV. I think this strike, because it has affected everyone, even internationally, I think we're going to see a lot more collaboration between different countries and different storytelling across the world. But hopefully, you know, I think we're all ready for it to end. I think we're all ready to get back to work. We're all ready to get fair pay. We're all ready to, you know, do the thing that we love. You know, we make art for a living, and right now it feels like a second COVID, and specifically for Hollywood. First COVID was kind of crazy, but it was like, we're all in it together, right? Okay. So this one is just like, oh, y'all at work? Okay. Well, we not at work. I'm unemployed.
From your lips to God's ears.
Amen.
Yvonne Orji, always a pleasure to talk with you. Her book, Bamboozled by Jesus, How God Tricked Me into the Life of My Dreams, comes out on paperback today. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Have a great night. Coming up in the next hour, a spike in gun deaths is leading one state to suspend the right to carry firearms in public. But some law enforcement officials are now refusing to enforce that order. And a day to remember. See the touching moments and celebrations from Robin Roberts' love-filled wedding day.
Wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Getting you behind the stories as they happen.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Streaming free on ABC News Live. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. Do you GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, Afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
It was the ideal marriage. Little did I know I was married to a man who had done something so horrible that it would devastate our lives forever.
Teacher of the Year is now charged with sex crimes.
Only on Hulu.
He was living a double life.
The shocking story behind a #1 true crime podcast.
Prostitutes, escorts. He even cheated on me the week of our wedding.
Betrayal, the perfect husband.
He had a lot of fantasies.
Now streaming only on Hulu.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We've got a lot of news to get to this evening, including the devastating loss of life in Morocco as the death toll there continues to climb in the wake of a rare and powerful earthquake. This is thousands are killed in Libya following mass flooding there. Plus, the incredible rescue of that American explorer trapped in an underground cave in Turkey, how he's doing tonight. And it's official, Robin Roberts and her longtime love, Sweet Amber, are now married. A look at some of the most memorable moments from their wedding. But we do begin with the mounting desperation in Morocco after the strongest earthquake in more than a century leveled remote villages, devastated parts of major cities, and has left rescue and response teams scrambling to try to reach cut-off communities. Tonight, at least 2,800 people are dead and a similar number injured from the early morning 6.8 magnitude quake on Saturday. You can see people running in the streets of Marrakesh, parts of buildings collapsing in their path. Tonight, the Moroccan government is facing major questions about why it has not yet accepted international aid from some countries, including the U.S. and Germany. Tom Sufi Burge leads off our coverage from Morocco.
Tonight, the sheer force of that deadly 6.8 magnitude earthquake. This the moment the earth started shaking, the most deadly quake to hit Morocco in more than 60 years. Panic in the streets of Marrakesh, the violent tremors sending people running, buildings crashing down around them. The death toll from Friday night's quake soaring. More than 2,800 people killed, thousands more injured. Rescuers tonight frantically searching for survivors. Then the calls for silence. Pausing to listen for any signs of life. Some moments of hope. This person rushed to a helicopter, their condition unknown. We travel to the village of Wurgan, near the epicenter in the high Atlas Mountains. This woman collapsing to the ground, overcome with grief. Habiba later showing us a photo of her and her young son Badra, one of 8 members of Habiba's family who were killed. She then lists the loved ones she lost.
My mother and my father, my brother, my son.
Brave Habiba showing us what's left of the house where her relatives died.
We're so sorry.
Friends holding her tight. Well, as you can see, Habiba's family home completely destroyed. The scale of her loss, hard to comprehend, but those stories are repeated across this region. Criticism is growing over the slow pace of the rescue operation. Military helicopters today dropping aid, finally reaching some of the hardest hit areas like Ijil, cut off by landslides. Tonight across this country, desperation growing. Survivors sleeping outside once again.
Everything is very difficult for us. No food, no water. We lost also electricity. It was very catastrophic.
Just so much grief and destruction. Tom Sufi Burridge joins us now from Marrakesh. Tom, what are authorities saying about the chances of finding additional survivors?
Lindsay, experts say 72 hours is the golden window to find survivors. We're now just beyond that. 100,000 children impacted by the quake, according to UNICEF, and a team from USAID on the ground here in Marrakesh, ready to deploy into the mountains if they get the green light from the Moroccan government. Lindsay?
Tom, our thanks to you as always. And tonight back here at home, there's a flash flood threat on the East Coast. 27 million Americans on alert. A Coast Guard vessel sailing into New York captured these lightning strikes. The Yankees game delayed for hours after record rain. Meantime, Hurricane Lee is strengthening once again, back to a major Category 3 with 115-mile-an-hour winds. Our chief meteorologist, Ginger Z, is tracking it all for us on this busy Monday night. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, Lindsay, we've got the stunning clouds around us, and I just saw the lightning striking in a cell south of us, so lots of dynamic atmosphere here along the stationary front. We've already seen some of these produce up to 2.5 inches of rain really quickly, so anticipate that along the stationary front from Boston and Providence right through Connecticut down to New Jersey and New York. So Long Island, you've still got to deal with it for the next couple of hours, too. But then we get more on Wednesday. It's been a really wet start to September, and this is all independent of Lee, which is still way out there in the Atlantic, just north of Puerto Rico by about 400 miles. So it's still in open ocean. It's moving west-northwest at about 7 miles per hour. It will keep chugging westward and a little northwest until it makes that all-important turn to the north. That tells everyone in the Bahamas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, you are free and clear of direct impacts, but you will have those indirect rip current risk, of course, the big high surf. And that really starts to intensify once you get into the mid-Atlantic, coastal New Jersey, Long Island, up into New England, because you see the proximity to the storm. Now, do pay attention to the cone. Often we'll say look beyond the cone, but the cone itself represents where it could go. The furthest west would put you in a really bad place if you're on the Cape. Does not look like most of the modeling wants to do that, but they're keeping that wide just to make sure that everyone is aware that by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be talking about a storm making its way somewhere around coastal New England, right along the Canadian border to Nova Scotia. That leaves the eastern side, or that dirty side, the right side of the storm, over Nova Scotia in almost all these scenarios. But either way, if I were in Cape Cod Bay and I'm seeing these northeasterly winds pushing huge waves, giant winds toward me, I'd be concerned about erosion, rip currents, and then the closer it gets, obviously, the potential for some of that, like power lines down. But we will get closer to those impacts by the weekend. Lindsay.
We want Lee to keep heading east. And Ginger, America has also set a perhaps disturbing record already in September for billion-dollar natural disasters in 2023. What do you know about that?
So $23 billion disasters, that's the minimum that they're causing, right? Or that they cost, some of them more. There were 2 flood events, there were 18 severe weather events, 1 wildfire event, and of course, the 1 tropical cyclone, Idalia. Now, this beats out the old record of 22 of them in 2020, the year 2020. Realize we're only in September, so we still have 4 months left. So we not only are going to break that record, but we're going to smash it. Lindsay?
Wow. All right. Ginger Z for us. Our thanks to you. I know you are busy. Now to an extraordinary rescue in Turkey. An American explorer was pulled out after being trapped more than 3,000 feet underground in a cave for days. ABC's Marcus Moore was there as they finally were able to bring him out.
Tonight, renowned American cave explorer Mark Dickey finally emerging from Turkey's Morja cave 9 days after suffering a life-threatening medical emergency more than 3,000 feet from the surface. Dickey seen smiling on a stretcher, making it to the base camp after the successful last leg of a daring mission.
And you can see
Mr. Dickey there with that thermal blanket wrapped around him. This was a delicate operation, a delicate mission, one that took a lot of manpower and a lot of planning. Rescuers slowly maneuvering him along the narrow cave, at times in a near vertical climb, fighting to keep Dickey level for the last few hundred feet. Making things even more difficult, the cave flooded with more than 3 feet of water.
It's a very particular piece of cave here because there are so many slopes. It's a bit tricky.
While on a mapping expedition, Dickey, a renowned researcher, became trapped more than 3,000 feet from the surface. An international team making the treacherous journey to reach him. Okay. Slowly navigating perilously tight passages, some so small they had to be widened to fit the stretcher carrying their fellow caver to safety.
Good news there from Marcus. Next tonight, that escaped murderer in Pennsylvania slipped through police lines 12 days ago. New video from a doorbell camera shows us how he's transformed his look. ABC's Trevor Ault continues his coverage from Pennsylvania.
12 days after this daring escape from prison, tonight Pennsylvania officials say they no longer have escaped murderer Danilo Cavalcante contained after he slipped through their search perimeter over the weekend.
It was a very strong perimeter as far as perimeters go, but there are always weaknesses, and that place posed some very unique challenges.
The latest images show Cavalcante is now clean-shaven, wearing different clothes. Investigators say he stole this unlocked van with the keys inside and went to the Phoenixville area where he tried to contact former co-workers Saturday, speaking with one via door camera who called local police. But state police weren't notified for several hours, and by that time he was already gone.
The fact that he has reached out to people with a very distant past connection tells me he doesn't have a great network of support.
Cavalcante later abandoned that van when it ran out of gas in East Nantmeal Township between Marsh and French Creek State Parks, just a few miles from the Pennsylvania Turnpike and 25 miles north of where police had been searching.
We remain concerned that Cavalcante will attempt to steal another vehicle to facilitate his escape.
U.S. Marshals chasing Cavalcante now say they're playing the long game.
Some people might think that means you don't expect to catch him soon. Is that the case?
No, I mean, we expect to catch him as soon as possible, but we're not going to put all our ducks in a row and say, hey, we're going to have him by this Thursday.
Our thanks to Trevor for that. Today, Americans mark 22 years since the September 11th attacks. Nearly 3,000 people were killed when hijacked planes crashed into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a Pennsylvania field, in an attack that not only reshaped American foreign policy, but also our nation's sense of security. Just this month, the remains of 2 more victims were identified, but still 40% of those lost have not been positively identified. President Biden marked the occasion with troops in Alaska on his return from the G20 summit, calling 9/11 a day that, quote, tested our strength, our resolve, and our courage. Now to the sheriff of Albuquerque saying that he will not enforce the emergency order suspending the right to carry firearms in public, calling it unconstitutional. New Mexico's governor imposed the 30-day order after a spike in gun deaths, including many children, but few have rushed to her defense. ABC's Victor Oquendo has the story from Albuquerque.
Tonight, outrage from some in New Mexico after Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham declared gun violence in Albuquerque a public health emergency and issued an order suspending the right to carry firearms there in public.
No one right now in New Mexico, and particularly in Albuquerque, is safe in a movie theater, at a park, at a school, at a grocery store, at an Isotopes game.
New Mexico has the 6th highest rate of gun deaths in the U.S., soaring 80% between 2012 and 2021. 11-year-old Froilan Villegas, the latest victim, police say 17 shots were fired into his family's car as they were leaving a minor league baseball game. His aunt Tatiana shot 5 times and paralyzed from the waist down.
It is time to declare an end to this kind of violence. It is, in fact, an epidemic.
But tonight, the county sheriff is refusing to enforce the governor's 30-day suspension of gun rights.
It is unconstitutional. My oath was to protect the Constitution, and that is what I will do.
The sheriff telling me the ban won't work.
After 30 days, what do you think will be accomplished?
This ban does nothing to curb gun violence. We're taking away firearms for law-abiding citizens in Bernalillo County, which is extremely violent. how do they protect themselves? That's their constitutional right to bear arms and to be able to defend themselves.
A lot of controversy there. Thanks to Victor for that. Still much more to get to tonight on Prime. Coming up, historic rulings have put a brighter spotlight on the Supreme Court over the past few years. The director of a new docuseries shows us how decades of history led us to this point. But next, communities are swept away and thousands are feared dead amid flooding in Libya. The political issues that could make recovery even more difficult.
Whenever news breaks,
The crush of families here in Poland.
Here in Kentucky, no match for the tornado. From Monterey Park, California, on the ground in Ukraine.
reporting from Uvalde, Texas, ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
From Kathmandu, Nepal.
In Truckee, California, covering record snowfall.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
Here at this airport in Tampa, it's already shut down.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Reporting from Jerusalem.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
And now, an announcement from America's #1 most watched morning show.
We've got a million good reasons for you to watch GMA this September.
Someone somewhere in America is about to get $1 million live on GMA. Could it be you? Watch GMA this September.
Ah, you see how I did that? A million good reasons.
Plus, the new cast of Dancing with the Stars will be revealed live, and the Sharks are back, giving you the real advice to grow your money. This September, put some good in your mornings with
Good Morning America.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Reporting from Atlanta, I'm Steve Osunsami. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. In Libya, entire neighborhoods were swept away over the weekend as a massive storm devastated coastal towns in the North African country. At least 2,000 people are feared dead and many more are reportedly missing. Authorities have asked for international help as communities along the eastern coast face catastrophic damage. A spokesman for the armed forces said the collapse of 2 dams led to the deadly flash floods, which claimed many lives. Today marks 50 years since the beginning of the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet in Chile and a coup backed by the United States that ushered in 17 years of brutal military rule. During that time, some 40,000 people were imprisoned, disappeared, tortured, or killed. Over the weekend, dozens of women dressed in black held candles and signs with photos of victims of the dictatorship. The purpose of the event was also to remember the participation of Chilean women as part of the resistance to the dictatorship. Drone video shows thousands of Israeli protesters as they form a sea of blue and white Israeli flags outside the Knesset, which is the equivalent of the Supreme Court in Jerusalem. On the eve of a historic hearing on a bid by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition to curb the court's powers, the judges will hear appeals against a judicial amendment that was passed by Netanyahu's National Religious Coalition in July and which sparked uproar for what critics say is an attempt to weaken the court. Over the last few years, historic rulings of the Supreme Court have renewed public attention in the High Court. In a new Showtime docuseries, Deadlocked, How America Shaped the Supreme Court, award-winning director and producer Dawn Porter examines a year of groundbreaking decisions and decades of history to inform viewers how the court got to where it is today. Let's take a quick look.
The only power the Supreme Court has is its legitimacy. And if it loses that, well, then the question becomes, why obey?
Really fascinating. Dawn Porter joins us now. Thank you for coming back on the show.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back here.
So often when you've tackled documentaries, we know that you've done historical figures like John Lewis, Robert F. Kennedy, Pete Souza, President Obama's former photographer. What's it like and how different is it to tackle an entire institution?
That's a good question. You know, one of the challenges of this series was where to begin and where to end. I was attracted to the series because, of course, the Supreme Court is in our news. It is on the news, like, daily. And I think people are really focusing about how important this court is to our daily lives. So, but, you know, tackling something that's in the news every day means it's in the news every day, and there's always something new happening. So what we really wanted to do was step back, give folks some context for the current news they're seeing. How did we end up here? What is the history that leads us to this place? That's what we're trying to answer in this series.
And I want to focus just for a moment squarely on the subtitle where you say deadlocked, how America shaped the Supreme Court. Expound on that a little bit.
You know, when we were thinking about the title and thinking about what I wanted to focus in on, I think something that folks don't often think about is how do we influence the court? And by we, I mean the public. Does the court think about the public? Do they think about how the rulings impact Americans? And what can you do about that? I know many people have felt somewhat helpless as they've watched some decisions that they disagree with. But the truth is, the court actually is influenced by what the public thinks. And as you see in our trailer, you know, a point that many experts made to me is the Supreme Court, its only authority is its public legitimacy. And so what we as the public can do is pay attention and say when we think either procedures or decisions are not legitimate. And that's really our superpower in terms of how America influences the court.
In an interview you did with the New York Times, you talked about how you needed to really focus on at what point the court became so political.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if there is a moment, was there a particular flashpoint that you feel that was when it really started changing?
Yeah, I think there are several moments. First, of course, are the Bork hearings. So the Bork hearings, for people who are not familiar, Judge Robert Bork was largely seen as a lock to be the next Supreme Court justice. But Judge Bork had a long history of very, very conservative writings where he posited a number of theories that were really alarming to the civil rights community, but also to many other legal scholars. Among those opinions that he had at the time was that Roe v. Wade should be overturned. And at that point, a number of people rallied and said, Judge Bork is too conservative and too radical for this court. That did not sit well with Republicans. And we have in the series Mitch McConnell, in his own words, saying, you can deny Judge Bork his Supreme Court seat, but we will sure knock down your other nominees. And that is exactly what has happened.
We heard it in the clip, and then you mentioned it again during this interview where you talk about the court's strength comes from its perception of legitimacy. Do you feel that it has lost a bit of its legitimacy?
I feel that it has certainly lost the confidence of many, many Americans, and I feel that that is dangerous. What people are starting to see is a court that is making decisions that don't seem to comport with past practice or precedent. And by precedent, we all know that, overturning Roe v. Wade, announcing decisions that say the EPA can't regulate, can't issue environmental regulations, overturning more than a century of jurisprudence on gun restrictions. That's what the Supreme Court is doing. Clarence Thomas inviting the court to not only overturn Roe v. Wade, but to look at the underpinnings of gay marriage, of contraception for married couples. That's what he has invited the court to take a look at. So I think in practice, so the decisions that they're making, that is in jeopardy.
Dawn Porter, always good to have you on. And her new 4-part docuseries, Deadlocked, How America Shaped the Supreme Court, premieres September 22nd on Showtime. And still to come, it's official. Robin Roberts and her longtime love, Amber, are married. A look at some of the most memorable moments from their wedding.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings. The full series is out now. Listen to every episode wherever you get your podcasts.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Welcome back. It was a night to remember for our Robin Roberts as she tied the knot with her longtime sweet Amber over the weekend. The theme of the night was Love Wins. The ceremony was in their backyard, followed by a beautiful and joy-filled reception with laughter, tears, and, of course, lots of dancing. Take a look.
Repeat after me. I, Robin.
I, Robin.
Take you, Amber.
Take you, sweet Amber.
To be my wife.
To be my wife.
Amber, Robin, I take you this day.
Robin, I take you this day.
To be my wife. By the authority of God and the laws of this state, I declare that Robin and Amber are one. What therefore God has joined together, let no person or system separate.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. and Mrs. Robin and Amber Lane Roberts.
She's my wife, and what she wants. And so I hope this just is one of many surprises.
And that's a wrap, folks. That's a wrap.
A hearty congratulations to Robin and Amber. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. We do leave you tonight with a look over Lower Manhattan and the iconic and poignant tribute in light to the victims of September 11th. The twin beams reach up to 4 miles into the sky and on a clear night are visible from a 60-mile radius, a symbol to the world of the resilience of New York City 22 years after a day we will never forget. Good night.